Well, the latest as far as the Ukraine versus Russia crisis is concerned, despite Russia claiming to have pulled out its troops from different points at the Ukraine border, no one, it seems, believes them. In fact, Ukraine itself, along with US and NATO, have dismissed Russia's claims. Ukrainian President has said that Russia is merely rotating its troops and it cannot be called a pullback. He further added that Ukraine will confirm the pullback once it happens. US and members of NATO have also claimed that no de-escalation has taken on ground. Meanwhile, China has waded into the issue and used it as an opportunity to slam the United States, accusing them of creating tension and false threat of warfare.
Ми бачимо велике накопичування військ, воно не змінюється за останні вже тижні. Ми бачимо ті чи інші невеличкі ротації. Я б не називав би сьогодні ці ротації відведенням військ з боку Російської Федерації. Невеличкий період в зменшенні цих угруповань, цих військових, цієї техніки на тих чи інших ділянках кордонів.
The US has claimed that Russian invasion of Ukraine can in fact happen anytime, and Russia has been making false claims of the withdrawal of troops from the border. In fact, US said that Russia is still adding troops at the Ukrainian border. The White House has said that Russia is making excuses ahead of the invasion, and it has used such tactics in the past as well. US President Joe Biden has announced that Vice President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State Tony Blinken will attend the Munich conference to meet world leaders and unite them against Moscow. Meanwhile, the Quad leaders, which includes US, India, Japan and Australia, emphasized that Russia-Ukraine crisis needs a diplomatic resolution.
I think, as Secretary Blinken also said, the Russian troops remain massed in a very threatening way at the border. And he was responding, I believe, to a good question about whether they were delivering on what they had promised yesterday. And the answer was no. There's what Russia says, and there's what Russia does, and we're watching very closely what steps they're taking, but they remain amassed in a threatening way at the border.
We just learned that Russia's added as many as 7,000 troops near the border in just recent days. And that goes contrary to the claims by Vladimir Putin that troops would be pulled back from the region. There was a turn yesterday morning where there was a little sense of hopefulness, particularly in the major markets around the world, reacted well to President Putin saying that, I'm pulling back some of my troops that were doing military exercises. They're going back to garrisons. And he also, or the Kremlin also said that they're open to talks. But what the Biden administration is saying is that might be what they're saying, but the evidence we're seeing is they're actually going in the opposite direction. They're preparing more and more, and they're digging in more and more for a possible potential conflict.
US President Joe Biden and German Chancellor have called Ukraine's situation extremely serious. The leaders spoke to each other and discussed their respective conversations with President Putin and as well. And this is in fact regarding the military buildup of Russia on Ukraine's borders. They reaffirmed their commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity.